Welcome to the show, Tell Like It Is. I'm your host, Mark Wasberg, and I have a very special guest on my show. Nat, do you want to introduce yourself to the public?
Yes, I'm Nat Bates, Richmond City Council, the senior member of the council, and I've been on the council some 30 plus years.
We know for a fact that there's been a lot of bickering and arguing at the city council meetings. There's 5-2 votes all the time. It seems like you and Corky is always outnumbered when it comes to the votes. You want to talk about that for a little bit?
Well, it's probably the most frustrating. It's the most dysfunctional city council that I've served on during my career. And it's basically gamesmanship and power plays. Usually when you have a council, they try to make it inclusive of everyone.
Right.
But unfortunately, this council, they can care less about making a unanimous vote. As long as they got their 4 votes, they intend to do exactly what they want to do. Whether the community support them,
Right.
Whether they have a unanimous consent of the council.
How the people feel about it. They just want to do what they want to do. That's the impression I get when I go to the city council meetings. It's always for them. It's these people are making decisions that's going to benefit them, not the people in Richmond.
Well, it's headed by the mayor, along with Marilyn Langlois, who is a candidate for the council. And of course, Tom Budd. He claims he's not a member of the so-called Progressive Alliance, but he certainly identifies with them.
Right.
And of course, you got Richmond. And as you know, I've renamed them from Progressive Alliance to Plantation Alliance.
Correct, that's right.
Because they have an attitude, plantation-wise, whereby they always know what's best for everyone else without including them in the discussion of the policy making.
Employment is a big factor in election time. We all know that. Now, I know back in the day when you could drop out of high school or graduate from high school that you will have a job. There was factory work everywhere, and that's why I stayed in Richmond majority of my life. Good paying jobs. As a council member for the last 30 years, you have pushed time and time again for better paying jobs. So this time around, how would it be better?
Well, I'm working directly with the port, which I think is one of the great opportunities because with auto warehousing, we're bringing in automobiles throughout from China,
Right.
not from China at least, but from Japan, the Honda, and the Subaru. The other thing is, you know, we got the Lawrence Livermore Lab, the Richmond campus. That too is going to be a real gigantic opportunity for the city of Richmond. Unfortunately, it's going to be a lot of professional jobs, but hopefully bringing in a campus of that magnitude, it will create satellite office space and businesses that will have a demand for employees with less education.
Is the soda tax. We know that Richmond, California was the only one to introduce a soda tax, and it's been nationwide.
Well, that was brought again by our plantation folks with the Richmond Progressive Alliance, who feels as though they have the knowledge and they know what's best for everyone. Interesting enough, the Richmond Progressive Alliance have not one African American on their board of directors, but they can sit in judgment and tell us what is best for our community. That soda tax is going to hurt the African American community and the minority community or the low income community,
Right.
because it's going to force individuals to not buy soda here in the city of Richmond. They'll go to El Cerrito, San Pablo, and they'll take that money, and while they're in El Cerrito, San Pablo, they'll probably do their entire grocery purchasing. It's really going to hurt the local businesses.
Well, we know for a fact if you took all the sodas off the shelves right now, you will still have obesity. You got Hostess Twinkies, you got the pies, you got the cakes, you got the chips. and this is why I went in front of the city council, and I was the first one to demonstrate that if you took all the sodas off the shelves, you will still have obesity. It wouldn't even put it dead.
Obesity is a national problem, and it's a problem of educating our community in good eating habits, fruit and vegetables, and also exercising. We have a lot of these young people, because they're obese, is that they sit on those television, they do the computers and,
Right.
and the texting and everything, and they're not out there exercising and becoming physical in programs that will help them reduce their weight. The other thing has to do, is very serious, as this community got to understand, is that the $3 to $5 million of which this plantation group feels that it's going to generate, while they may have, if it passes, while they may be able to generate funds in a direction for obesity programs today or tomorrow, there's no guarantee that the future city council members would adhere to the same principles and ideas that the majority on the council have today. So once that money goes into the general fund, it can be used in any direction by the future city council they so desire.
Right.
Public safety, library costs, whatever comes up, salaries for the employees,
Yeah?
whatever they so desire, they have that latitude.
Well, we know that the federal government is cracking down on obesity. Now, I just read in the paper that what they're doing is they're trying to bring in more salads and fruits, but they didn't say anything about soda.
Well, Marine Energy is another one of those plantation positions of the majority of this council who say, we know what's best for this community. Marine Energy is a private company that is going to be in contractual agreement with the city to provide electricity, not gas, but electricity. And we're told it's going to be at a higher price. PG&E unfortunately did not come in and contest the ordinance mandate by this council, so they will continue to provide the energy, but through Marin they will get money from PG&E. The only way you can avoid the Marin Energy, which is supposed to be higher than PG&E, is that you have to pay to opt out of the program.
Now, is that legal?
Well, according to legislation that was passed by the state that provides municipalities the opportunity to reach out and go for energy other than PG&E, it is legal. So people are going to have to pay to say, no, we don't want Marine Energy.
Now, there's been a lot of talk about the city council wants to build a path for bicycles. They want to remodel the barbecue pits and the picnic tables, but they don't want to do the roads.
Well, Councilmember Bouzet and I were the only two that voted against this bike path. What it does is that it commits $40 million for bike paths throughout the city. And if you notice, there are bike paths on South 37th Street.
Right.
I saw them on Pennsylvania. And the reason that we were so irritated and upset is that, again, the plantation mentality of this Progressive Alliance,
Right.
they don't go out and ask the community.
Right.
They don't try to get input to say, is this something that you want? And more important, there's less than 2% of bicycle users in the city of Richmond. And we're devoting $40 million for bike trails when we have streets all over the city that is in disrepair, potholes.
Right.
Well, to me, when you have almost 100% of the population using the streets, that's where your emphasis should be. to clean up those streets and repair them, not for bikes. Only time you generally see bicycle is maybe a few on the weekend.
Right.
Now they've taken up a complete lane. So where you used to have, say, a 4-lane, now you only got a 2-lane.
Right.
It's hazardous. Someone luckily haven't gotten hit by a car, but that's just a very poor use of city resources.
Well, we know in Oakland, California, there was a bicyclist who hit a pothole. He lost control and he smashed into a car and he died.
Yeah. Well, we got potholes all over this city, and that lawsuit is almost indefensible because, as I understand it, they notified the city about the potholes, and they said, "Oh yeah, we'll get to it when we get to it." And then this young man, unfortunately, got killed, and there's a lawsuit that is nowhere in the world the city can possibly win that. And I hope that we don't have that kind of situation. But our priorities are completely out of balance. Things that we should be doing, we're not doing.
Right.
A case in point is that we have consultants who sit in the council chambers hour after hour waiting to be heard. And we're dealing with all kinds of Mickey Mouse things before we get to the real purpose of our existence as a city council. Our job primarily is to take care of city business professionally as rapidly as we can. But we get all these Mickey Mouse ideas, the flotilla, the Gaza Strip, and the Palestinians. We just recently we were discussing whether you can have a pet as an owner or a guardian. I mean, this is just ridiculous.
That was Ritterman's idea.
But more important, we're dealing with all these Mickey Mouse items while we have people sitting on the payroll getting $300 and $400 an hour waiting to be heard.
Yeah.